What do you make of this attempt by Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping to actually try to project strength?
Well, that's what they've been wanting to do all along. You remember they assigned a strategic alliance before the war actually began in 2022. But China hasn't been very forthcoming. They understand the power of the sanctions. They also look at Russia as a losing ally, and they're not so anxious to get into that. And finally, Wolf, think of it from China's perspective. They like Russian technology. They certainly want hydrocarbons, but the last thing Xi Jinping really wants is a super empowered, rebuilt Soviet Union on China's border. And so a weak Russia that is coming to him for help, that's pretty satisfying for President Xi.
Yeah, good point. Walk us through what's happening right now on the battlefield, General, with this brutal trench warfare in the East, for example.
Yeah, it's we're in a strategic stalemate essentially, and the reason for that is Russia's lost its offensive capacity, but the Ukrainians have not been. They don't have enough artillery. They don't have enough artillery ammunition. They don't have the loitering drones. They don't have fighter aircraft. They don't have new tanks. So they really don't have the offensive firepower to finish this thing off. And in my view, the right way to do it is to give them that capability, get Russia out of Ukraine, and then there's a reasonable possibility that we could have peace talks. But instead, it's a grinding stalemate, waiting, I guess, for Russia to either bleed Ukraine out or for the West to finally put effective war crimes actions against President Putin that would bring him to heel and cut off any international support.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Ukraine now says that since Putin invaded Ukraine last February, General, Ukraine has liberated about 1,800 Ukrainian settlements from Russian occupation. Does that bolster the Ukrainians as this awful war drags on?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the fact that Ukraine could fight back, hold its own, and then recapture territory, it says to the world that Russia is capable of being defeated. Russia is capable of being pushed completely out of Ukraine. But Wolf, the battlefield is changing because what the Russians have done is really entrench themselves in Donbass. And so it's not going to be like the easy takeover of the Kharkiv and Northeast that occurred in September. The fighting that Ukraine's going to have to go through is they're going to have to mass artillery. They're going to have overwhelming combat power at a decisive point and do a breakthrough of the Russian lines. And they're not equipped to do that yet. They're asking the United States for that kind of support. Really, only the United States and to some extent Germany can provide that. And I think that's a policy issue that Washington has to look at and resolve.